So I've been playing chess against myself for the last 2 hours, and I had a very good day. I meditated for about an hour straight, and I've never done that. I've done that one time before, but not like this. I connected to something that's so blatant, so real, and was there the whole time, like the whole time. But when you touch it, when I don't know what it is, I don't care. I do care, but I don't understand it yet, and I don't have a clue what I did. But I can tell you what it feels like. I got up, right? I had no doubt in my mind. That's been removed. Um, my main goal today was not to argue with my parents because I know engaging in arguments and engaging in confrontations is just unhealthy. It's at this point, it's not necessary. It's not going to change anything. In fact, the second I stopped trying to change my parents' behavior, their behavior changed drastically for the first time in years, 5 years. I am not sure what to say, frankly. I had a really amazing just walk. I went to get my, oddly enough, so this is going to turn into an interesting talk, but so gabapentin, right? I've probably talked about this on my channel before, but gabapentin is a nerve blocker. It's a calcium ion channel blocker that I use for nerve pain in my hand. The other hand I'm using to hold the phone, this freaking thing. That looks pretty good, by the way. Just on a side note, that's not bad. But anyway, I'm struggling to keep my focus because this is ridiculous, but I feel like all that I really did was I just did not engage in arguments with my parents. Every time they would bring a topic up that I felt the need to react to or the need to speak to, I just didn't. And by doing that, I almost proved to my own mind that I'm worthy to hear the rest of what's going on right now. Well, right now is wrong. What's going on? What's been going on? What is? It's timeless. It's not bound to time, let alone space. It's just here. It is the substrate of life. And when I started listening, right, instead of judging and describing and explaining and professorializing, once I stopped that, I started hearing. It's not actually a sensory-based experience. Like all of my 5 senses could be removed and I would still feel this. Does that make sense? All of my 5 senses, sight, smell, taste, touch, everything could be removed. And this would be the only thing that is there still before whatever is my conscious body is actually not there anymore. All of the things. So when you look at a single object, like if I show you my hand, right? By the very nature of observing it, you can only see from your vantage point, right? You can't see the back of my hand right now because you are not my hand. Whereas what I'm doing is I'm just almost allowing like assimilation. I'm just allowing the world to be told in a story to me. This is making so little sense, man. I'm sorry. So I've been sober for 3 days, and that's a big piece of this, I think. Just giving me clarity of my mind back. Really, the main reason I made the video in the first place is because I wanted to, this is not a stable thing to lean on. I wanted to make my mindset somehow communicable, and it's not. It's just not. It's something that like until you clear out your own mental and physiological spaces, you can't receive it. It just can't be heard. And I made it my sole goal about 4 or 5 days ago to reach this point. And somehow I wasn't expecting this would happen. I didn't know what was happening actually at first, but in my hour-long meditation, I essentially became so focused and so transient somehow. Like my mind just became fluid and time stopped almost. I didn't stop, time just paused. And it was like, wait, you're not getting it. And something explained to me what it was that I wasn't feeling or picking up on. And so I drove directly in my mind. Again, I'm sitting down, right, with a blindfold on. And I just drove straight at whatever that feeling was. It gave me a hint of a feeling that this is here. And I started really mentally driving towards that while just leaving everything as is. Because in meditation, it's literally for me just allowing whatever headspace and physiological space I'm existing in to exist while being conscious of it. And in meditating, I can go down or up. I can go deeper in and slow down my wavelengths, get closer to low level beta and theta and etc. Or I can raise my vibrational energy to a degree that's like dangerous, because this is insane, man. I feel like, okay, here's the experiential thing. As I'm walking through the world, right, it feels more like the world is communicating to me. It's giving me just truth all the time. I might be it's possible I'm just insane. That's possible too, but I'm gonna go with that I might be tapped into something, so let's just go with that for now. In the end, even if I'm not tapped into something, and this is all an illusion of my mind that I just have not been trained properly, let's assume the worst case scenario, because I don't want to put too much value in something, no matter how tremendous the experience is. Let's just say it's that I'm still controlling my emotional environment 100% of the time. I'm not engaging in arguments, and as a result, my body and mind are in sync. That's actually what yoga apparently means, is union. And it's not just mind-body union, right? Because there's like 16 minds, including your physical mind, your intellectual mind, and your emotional mind, your spiritual mind. There's a lot of them, and they're all trying to run simultaneously. And what I've been doing is I've been prioritizing whatever I understand to be a spiritual mind above everything else. And it's done everything for me. It's like, it's doing this for me. It's helping my emotional environment stay calm all the time. I mean, this is about the highest vibrational frequency I'll get to. And I'm still, it's not like where it used to be, where it was just manic ADHD thought. I still have to deal with the fact that neurologically, the patterns I've built for my brain and how I think are unfortunately pretty borked. They're pretty messed up. And it's taking a lot of energy, even right now, not to follow every tangential idea that pops up almost every third or fourth word I say. So there you go. That's where I'm at. Speaking of tangential ideas, I just got some really interesting stuff in the mail, and I am pretty terrified to try it. So have you guys ever heard of Salvinorin A? Of course you have. I forgot, it was in the news. So Salvia divinorum is, I'm just gonna sit down. Salvia, right? Salvia divinorum. You may have heard of this as some kind of, bath salts type drug. And as far as I can see, it kind of looks like that a little bit. Just in that, you can have bad trip and good trip at the same time, but also they're totally random even for people who use it regularly and are experienced with what its effects are. But I've heard some extremely psychedelic effects, and this is a plant that you can get on the ClearNet, on the normal internet. And I did. I actually, comically enough, I don't know if I told you guys about this, but I actually bought this with Bitcoins because I have a lot of Bitcoin. I have $500 in Bitcoin now, from an initial $250, $400 investment, $1,500 net total, but right now it's at $500, doesn't matter. Coinbase is awesome though. And I paid for, I think it was I got the extra shipping too. So let's say $100, let's just say $100 in Bitcoin, because roughly it was that much. I got a confirmation. I had to send it from my Coinbase account to my Coinbase wallet, and then from the wallet to the thing. And actually, I didn't do that. I sent money to my wallet, but then I didn't use the wallet to send it to there because it took 30 minutes to get to my wallet. So I was like, wait, can I just go directly from Coinbase to this address? And the answer is yes. So I did directly from the Coinbase trading app to salviahut.com. I'm not kidding, that's the name. And I think I got combo pack of two different things. One is 25x extract of salvia, and the other one is 60x extract of salvia. Because if you just smoke the leaf, you would have to ingest large amount, eat it, eat huge. They're big leaves, bigger than my hand, big leaves. And you would have to eat 2 to 5 large leaves and wait an hour to have normal effect. So if you're trying to smoke it, you can imagine just taking a normal leaf and crushing it up. You'd have to smoke 6 cigarettes or 6 blunts worth. So anyway, the reason I'm, by the way, even interested or debating using this shit in my mental state is that it's not addictive, like at all, from what I've heard. And the same reason I wanted to pursue LSD on the darknet. I also bought that. It's still not here yet, obviously. I will make a video when it does arrive, if it does. And psilocybin, so LSD, psilocybin, DMT I would not touch even if it was right in front of me. I really wouldn't. I'm not ready for it. Also, I want to awaken my own kundalini, and I want to get my own third eye going on its own. I don't like the artificial method of doing that, because also I just don't want to lock myself out of the potential to make it myself. Because your pineal glands, well, your third eye, right? Your pineal gland, which is a real physical organ in your brain, is supposedly that's what creates DMT, which is structurally very similar. So from serotonin. In the morning, serotonin gets increased in your brain and it starts making you aware of the world around you. So Sera wakes you up, Mel puts you to bed. But they're the same compound, serotonin versus melatonin. Melatonin is structurally almost identical to serotonin. It's also structurally similar to DMT, dimethyltryptamine, the world's strongest hallucinogen. And the reason I'm debating taking salvia is because, frankly, I have just no patience. I bought those mushroom spores. Oh, I should show you those, my bad. I bought the mushroom spores, and the only one I actually am colonizing is not the golden teacher, because I gave that to my mom just because she didn't want me to grow psilocybin mushrooms, which is fair. But I did get this. Oh, let's see. It's only been a couple days. But this is the sterile grain bag. You definitely cannot tell what is in there, but it's somewhat hydrated, which is good. The reviews on Amazon were horrific. They were like all 1 star. So that's not good. So there's those two. There's 2 more on the other radiator. Just trust that there's 2 more over there. And those will take about 5 to 6 weeks, like 4 to 6 weeks to fully colonize. And then from that point, when they're fully colonized and that little bag has turned into an entire white solid brick of mushroom, I will remove it, put it in the tub that's coming tomorrow. That's just like a big tub with, like, you know, you put perlite and a little bit of water in it just to keep the moisture level correct. And then you put those things in it and then adjust like the airflow so it can get airflow and everything else and whatever. And eventually mushrooms pop out of those bricks. The reason I'm debating doing any of this is because, one, I still do have PTSD. I manage it really well, obviously, because, well, maybe not obviously. I manage it by leaving it in about a mile and a half of cement. I just poured a shitload of cement on all that crap from like all my early life, from medical to institutional trauma to street trauma to everything else. I've just poured cement on it. And essentially, I want to find a different vantage point. And honestly, with this meditative practice, I've been developing a different vantage point. I am a different person than I was 3 days ago by a long shot. And I'm sure in the videos you can tell. But I really know there's more out here, and I need to see some shit, man. Something is telling me in my own brain, in my own mind, my whatever you want to call it, my guides that have been assigned to me in my mind are all pointing at take the road that you know will lead somewhere. The road that I was taking here does not lead anywhere. Roads to success are not my goal. They're just not my goal. Like, I have no issue with hard work. Obviously, if I did, I wouldn't be doing this bullshit meditating practice every day. Like 2 hours a day is a lot of meditating. But it's changing me, and it's changing how I think. So the reason I'm interested in LSD, psilocybin, and mescaline is because I really need to open that door. And I need to see what is there that I have not looked at. What are the parts of my mind that I need some revision? Because then, of course, there's a lot, but I just don't know where to go about starting it. And I for sure as hell do not trust any therapist, let alone a psychiatrist, with my own mental health. That's psychotic right there. If you trust a psychiatrist, especially, not therapists can be good. Therapists most of the time are trying to do good. Psychiatrists can do, at best, crisis management, at best. And usually it's crisis fulfillment. Like, it's more that, you know, you'll be given a drug that if it works, it could just become a new enslavement. And if it doesn't work, and most like SSRIs do not in the long term work, they just change your ability to perceive the world, and they lie to you round the clock, and they just, SSRIs are bad. So taking a drug to change an emotional mindset and an emotional state is the problem for me. So I don't like the idea of a psychiatrist, and I've also had many, many psychiatrists, and 100% of them sucked. Even the ones who were really good sucked, because their profession is about giving you a drug to blur the problem, blur your perception of the problem. Don't ever treat the problem. Then you won't come back. You won't need more meds. You won't need more refills, and I'll have no job. So don't go to psychiatrists. And I will confront anybody on this. Like, just conversationally. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, tell me. I'd like to know. If I am wrong, please do tell me, but I'm not here. Anyway, so I don't trust any therapist. I don't trust anybody with this stuff. I'm more likely to call one of my friends than I am to reach out to a therapist. And I have a few that I just have, like old therapists that I still keep in touch with. So I'm freaked out. To be honest, I'm freaked out. Because when I get to Oregon, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my apartment, make sure I'm moved in and settled. I'm going to go to the Portland CF Center, cystic fibrosis. I keep forgetting I still have that. And I'm going to go for a lung clean out. So I think it's going to work, but I'm going to go to the ED, the emergency department, and get myself checked in. They're going to be like, okay, he's a CF patient. That's clear. They're going to do an x-ray. Yeah, he's got pneumonia for sure. Pneumonia, by the way. Sure. I have a lung bacterial infection, and I need to get it fixed because it's been 3 months that I should have been in the hospital, and I'm not. And then I'm losing lung function as a result. So that's a bit creepy. And so I'm going to go to the CF Center. I'm going to get myself checked in, and then I'm going to spend roughly 2 weeks after I get the tunneled central line that goes into my heart and all that stuff. They're going to pump me full of antibiotics for 2 weeks. I'm going to come out of that wrecked, but my lungs will be better. You do get destroyed. The rest of your body gets ruined by IV antibiotics, man. Like, especially your fucking brain. That's the scariest part. And so very likely while I'm there in the hospital, very likely I'm going to take a mushroom or some mushroom tea cocktail I make, and I'm going to have my friend get it. Or I might wait until I'm at that person's house. My friend, I don't know if I can say her name. It's not really invasive. My friend A, we'll just call her A. She's the best person I know, period. Easy. I mean that. Best person on earth. Wait, let me think. Gandhi, Vishnu, Buddha, Vishnu, Krishna. No, yeah, it's still A. A is the best thing I've ever, by far. Anyway, we're probably complementary souls who have fought in different wars against each other in different lifetimes, and now we're just so unbelievably drawn to each other and also drawn to the same goal in life, which is like some form of enlightenment or a higher order of existence, that we're really good friends. Let's just leave it there. And so she's going to be my babysitter, right, for this mushroom trip or LSD trip, depending on what shows up first, and or salvia trip. Probably all of those, frankly, because I'm interested to see what each one has to tell me. I like to think of ingesting a molecule that comes from a plant as the plant informing me of something. That, hey, I've spent my millions of years evolving, and I've found out this. I make it as a molecule for other mammals to consume and become aware. Just like all mushrooms are already a neural network. So mushrooms especially, psilocybin and psilocin, work perfectly. And they also have cured people of drug addiction, which is something I am battling like hell right now. Like I've had weed cravings a couple times today that were pretty vicious. And I mean, like, I don't know how in my mind I can get into a state of being where I actually believe that obtaining weed, let alone using it, would somehow in any way benefit me. It's entirely destructive, it's unpleasant, I don't like the effect, and I am unable to do anything I want to do after using it. That should be enough right there, but it's not, because it's a mental circuit. So, with a craving, I tell myself, yeah, you can have that in 5 minutes. We'll go get it. 5 minutes, okay? And my brain shuts down the craving cycle. It goes, okay, you're gonna do it. I understand, thank you. And it shuts off. And meanwhile, I go and, play video games or meditate or whatever I do, read a book. And so I've been handling them well, but I I want to get to a point in life where I just don't have cravings. That would be really cool. And I kind of feel like, from what I've read about both the use of mushrooms for PTSD and mainly drug addiction, people walk away from those experiences and never even think about drugs again. Like, my main drug of choice, I shouldn't even, can I say this? What do you mean can I? It's my fucking channel, dude. Of course I can say this. My drug of choice was opium, like heroin basically, but actual heroin, not fucking fentanyl. Ugh. And when I was working for the town's dealer around Waverly, I didn't just say that out loud. What? When I was working for my local person, I had a lot of trauma happen around that, and also just generally the world of heroin and opiates is pretty damn tainted for me. So I was using poppy seeds. Comically enough, I'm probably going to do this again just to get off of the opioid pain medication that's even worse than heroin that I'm currently stuck on. You take unwashed poppy seeds. I can't pin that down. Take like a pound or two. What is this? 1 pound? 16 ounces. Yeah, 1 pound of poppy seeds. You put about the whole package into a gallon milk jug, shake it with cold water. You fill it to the brim with cold water. And I use half a lemon or pure acetic acid, which you can get pure acetic acid salt in like health food stores and stuff, whatever. So it helps pull the morphine off. And it has morphine and codeine primarily, but then your body and liver metabolizes codeine into hydrocodone and oxycodone naturally. And morphine gets metabolized into hydromorphone and oxymorphone separately. So when I was using this stuff, so yeah, you shake it and you gotta literally, it's the only reason I got biceps at all. I swear to God, I was shaking 2 like gallon milk jugs at a time, and you just have to keep shaking it. Use cold water instead of hot water so you get what's on the surface of the seeds without breaking the seeds open, because inside the seeds is just oil and bullshit and protein that you do not want, and it's nauseating, literally. So what you do is you just shake it for maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's a long process. And then you pour it through cheesecloth and you have this like yellowish, brownish liquid. And then you boil that down. I throw a Tums tablet in there or Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer is better because it's sodium bicarbonate and aspirin. And aspirin opens your blood vessels up and also just gives you a better feeling when you drink it. But why am I explaining this? I don't care. Tums actually will make calcium morphinate though. So it's calcium carbonate, and calcium has 2 valence spots, so it can actually bond fully to the morphine, and it'll rip that shit right off the molecule. It'll rip it right out of solution. It'll take it out of solution. It'll become a salt. You can then scrape said salt and gooey residue into a thing, and you can just smoke it, and it's basically opium. So that was my drug of choice. That's why I'm on Subutex. Been on Subutex too long. I want to get off of it. And that's a big motivating factor for why I want to do mushrooms, to be honest. So also, I realize I will be in Oregon by the time any of those mushroom bags are ready to go. So I guess I'm just kind of, yeah, I'm going to have to leave those here. Like, those are just going to be maybe upkept by my parents or just thrown away. I don't really care. Well, I do, because it's such a cool type of psilocybe mushroom. It glows in the dark. It doesn't just capture light and retain it. It literally creates it. I don't know what's wrong with me, but bioluminescence, like the ability for a living entity to create light in any capacity, is fucking amazing, dude. Light, in the first place, in my mind, light is what pulled all forms of life out of the dirt. Literally, the sun was just like, oh, look, let me just excite the shit out of some molecules down there and just get some stuff moving. Let's get things going. And we then rip eyeballs out of the mud and become people. That's how it happened. So when something is creating light itself, it's just like mesmerizing to me, and that's why I got it. I know this is a long video, by the way. That's intentional, because this entire video was designed to be a meditation session for you to just listen to while you are meditating. I dare anybody to do that. I dare anybody to try to meditate to what I just said. So that's what's going on. That's what's up. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. Things are going really well. I'm packed. I'm ready to go to oregano. I think I'm just, 2 steps away from just the rest of my life. So this is really cool. I'm going to end it there and I'm going to have some food. Peace, guys.